Hello, parkgoers. You're watching Planet Coaster with me, Colonel Failure, coming at you live from Failurwood Hills, featuring Stegoland. I spoke last time around that I'd intended to start overhauling my side of the park in order to kind of unify the design a little bit more, and that's exactly what I've been doing. The problem is that carrying out such endeavours is quite a long process, and therefore the best way to watch it happening is very quickly. So I've got you a little time lapse to show what I've been up to, and then we'll have a quick walkthrough of exactly what has been accomplished and what's still to be done. Stay tuned. Okay, well that was probably about, I don't know, 4.5, 5 hours of tinkering around that we got on with there, and I am far from complete when it comes to how much stuff I've actually got to get done. But we have made some progress. I'd ridden this log flume in the vague hope that we'd end up going through the new bit, but clearly that's not the case, and we're just going to have to ride it for a little bit longer. But that's okay. I can easily fill in that time there with a smile and a song and a faint smell of success. No, right. So basically, the overall principle is that I'm going to build. I'm going to build up the entire side of my park to kind of match the style and the tone of the entrance building that we're going to fly around the back of momentarily. And that's that's no small ask. Because as you can see from the rear side of the building, when it's undecorated, it doesn't look that great. You've got to set yourself up with some tone and some texture, and a variety in depth to make sure that you've got some kind of visual intensity to what's going on. Otherwise, you end up with I mean, they're nice textures, but otherwise you end up with just a bit of plain texture sat there staring at you blankly, going, what is it you want from me? So I've completed one section, basically, and even then it's only about like 3/4 complete, just to give you an idea of where I'm going, but there is a lot still to be done. But we'll take a tour just as soon as we go through the one bit that has been done here. So as you can see, we're coming into the mysterious rocky swamp area. It's delightful. It's certainly going to set the right mood for people. And then you head under the effluent jets here, which is magnificent. Going around, this is really quite nice at night because it's lit in quite a spooky fashion. If one were to turn their head, if one could turn their head, one would see to the side that there is actually quite a lot of decoration going on, and we'll have a look at that. There you go. Let's head over there. So let's see what we've got going on there. Oh dear, there's been an accident. A little bubbling barrel thing going on there. We're well lit from the inside, but this is all about breaking up the flatness of the walls. Now these pillars that we've got going on, I've been partly tempted to actually redo those to match the kind of the industrial and heroic grey motif that I am running with here. But to be honest, they look all right in purple. I'm relatively happy with those. But you got piping, because the whole thing is kind of factory-esque, and who knows exactly what it could be. Now they don't currently join up to anything on the top here. Hold on a moment, because as you've probably noticed, I've created this shopping area on the top of the building. Now this will eventually, hold on, we need to back off again. Again, looking at it from here, it's just a blank facade, right? And typically you'd want an additional floor, an additional story on top of that, much like we have over at the tiny by comparison entry building. There we go. See, so that's kind of where we're going to. But what I've done is I've built a triple height ground floor, so we'll do a double height second floor, which will make it look stupendous. But what that also means is that we're going to have room for extra rides and things that are actually up at a higher point to begin with. So this tower, for example, as well as concealing the gaping maw that is the entryway to Mr. Cthulhu's underworld, it is also going to be a ride foundation eventually. So I'll probably have a second tower out here somewhere, and we'll have a ride on top of it, and it'll all link up to the top side of this, which will have some build-up done on top of it, and all of that kind of jazz. Now, in order to make sure that we actually got some customers coming in this direction, I routed... here we go. Let us tackle the camera here. I routed the camera... I routed the path as from the... Yeah, see, there you go. Let's turn clipping off here. So the exit to the coaster now leads straight up to the shops. Some people might say that's quite cynical. And I go, what's your point? Because, yes, it is. It's very cynical. But welcome to the cynical side of the park, where we understand that people are not to be trusted to make their own decisions to buy your wares. You have to kind of throw them at it. I did, of course, make a kind of fatal error in that I built the skin of the beast before completing the interior. Now, I mean, I would argue that that's just because I'm so hardcore that I only ever operate at maximum difficulty, but no, I didn't really think it through sufficiently. I've thought it through a little bit. Well, let's get back through here. In the sense that, you know, I didn't put ceilings on everything yet. We've still got that to do. But there should be, you know, visual entertainment going on here throughout. Now, as we head down to the queue, there we go. You'll see, you know, loads of happy people going on here. Now, all of this gubbins that I've got in here is temporary. It's not good enough by any stretch. I mean, it's not the massive leap of creativity to just place a couple of belted wheels onto a wall. That just looks rubbish. I put those in place purely so that while Steggs was doing his next go, my queue would not sacrifice all of its build quality. Now, you get the true effect of this bit, actually, if you turn the lights out. There you go. Now, I've got to do a lot of work with lighting anyway, but I'm quite pleased with these hazard lights that I've created. That I feel that they really set the tone and the mood of the thing rather well. For those of you who want to see how they're done, it's actually pretty straightforward. It's multiple lights triggering at intervals. On a timer, and I've placed this disc over the top of them to just diffuse the light a little bit, so that it's obviously spinning round in a circle rather than just lighting the spot in the middle. So I'm quite pleased with that. That's not bad at all. And then on the way in here, we've got this clearly safe area that is a little warmer than one might perhaps like. This is more exciting because you know it's there, rather than anything the guests witness, because they're going too fast to actually witness it. But they do get to be told not to panic on the way in, and that's nice as well. And then we come to the final piece that I got built here, and I mean all of this groundwork. I'm going to keep tinkering with it. Oh, actually, we've got two pieces left to go. Let's do this one first. I've created a viewing point for people. Here we go. See. And this one's called Yep, That Looks Safe, where we have the flaming rowboat. It's not gone well for the flaming rowboat. In fact, it's flaming. But I'm sure it's all absolutely fine. I did some lighting here as well, which I quite liked, although I need to hide that one a little bit better, I think. There you go, you turn the lights off. Look at that. Moody. Yes. Semi-dangerous. I like it. Right, yeah, so I've got all of that still to do. Now, eventually, I will have a collection of... Whoops, a daisy. A collection of buildings that will be smaller than this one. This is the big one. I won't do any as large as that again. But a collection of buildings that kind of thread this theme through over on this side. Including a new entrance building for the log flume. Quite a lot of remodelling of the log flume kind of surround to be done. One bit that I do want to accomplish, not entirely sure how I'm going to do it at the moment. Let's go around here. Is I'd quite like to have a walkway that goes along here on top, so you can look down on the flume riders and throw your litter at them because they're riding the log flume and you're not. That's about it. Right, final bit that we've done here, right, is the shop that we've got here. It's doing a roaring trade. Now I haven't actually named this shop yet, which is Hat's Fantastic. I don't think so. Get Hat. I was going to call this one, and that will make sense. Oh, Get Hat looks busy. Oh well, maybe if I were to just nudge the prices in a favourable direction here. We've got a crown. Oh, we could have an elf hat. Oh, right. Oh, let's be selective. Let's just go for Uncle Sam hats. I think that's the one that everybody's going to want. We're going to price sync, obviously. No pirates, no crowns. We'll have a cowboy. We'll go sci-fi. We'll go elf. We'll have the rock hat and the spooky skull hat there. And we're going to up the tempo. 15 quid a go. That's what I'm talking about. This will get people proper in the mood and will hopefully print a little bit of currency for the ongoing profitability of Failure Hills featuring Stegoland. The other thing I missed is I put a bench down, didn't put a bin next to it. I don't know what I was thinking there. Clearly had other things on my mind at the time, but we'll rectify that immediately. Now, once I've done a little bit more work on here, I'm aiming to get lighting up, and at the same time, I shall also set some of my employees to be dedicated towards this area. That's the whole building. We don't want to tinker with that. We just want to move this a little bit. There you go. Can't have it clipping through the bin. There you are. And that's, I mean, you know, that's the story of why these things take so long, is you kind of go, yes, that looks good, tweak that a little bit. Kind of go, that's made the other bit look less good now. So you go back and you retweak, and it is an endless cycle of tweaking and retweaking in order to get it how you want. But, you know, that's the way of things. Right, screens, please. Do this. Give me screens. Now then, we don't need anything too huge here. 16 meters is arguably a little on the strong side. There we go. We want one of those. We're going to edit this. It's going to be an image, and it's going to be that one. There we are. Now this is a piece of marketing that should hopefully kind of direct people to buy a hat. It's subtle. There we go. I want you to go to Get Hat. There you are. See? Buy a hat now. This is, I mean, it's relatively advanced marketing. This, I mean, I put a lot of thought into the psychology of the park goer and what it is that might spur them into action. So I think I've really called on the emotions of your family day out kind of a thing. I see it down the corner. I think it's there. I mean, if you need me to explain exactly how I'm using psychological tricks here in order to convince people to buy a hat, stick up a comment and I'll explain it to you. Right, I want an awning of some description on here. Tile. That's the way we go. Oh, look at that. See, perfect. And this is what I'm talking about when I say depth, right? Let's go around the corner because, you know, it's less obvious. I mean, it's still obvious, but it's less obvious. If you look at the flat wall here, right? So we've got a flat wall, right? Now, the first thing you can do to break up the flat wall is recess some of it, right? Instant depth. You have instantly made your building more interesting than it might otherwise have been. Now, by adding the windows... Again, they're nice, they add a bit of depth as well, which again makes it more interesting than it might otherwise have been. Once you start layering clobber all over it, however, it starts to become very interesting indeed. all right, figuratively, it becomes very interesting indeed, but significantly better than just being a flat texture. And while this texture is bump mapped, which for those of you in the know, you don't need explaining, but for those of you not in the know, it's what makes it look like it's got depth. It's just very subtly bump mapped in order to make these bricks look like they're not just effectively wallpaper. And that's quite nicely done. But once you start sticking gubbins on it, it breaks it up, makes it look a little bit better overall. I need to sell this pillar here. I need to sell that's actually connected in a way that makes sense. This one is fine because it just looks like another piece that I've actually plumbed in. But yeah, making it interesting is all about adding layers and texture and so forth. And the more you add, the better it looks. It can look a little bit cluttered, and it's nice to have a kind of theme that makes that work. But that's can be quite effective. Now, what I don't know is actually, this screen that I've chosen, is that one that illuminates at night? I think it is the one that's better visible during the day. Oh no, it's decidedly visible at night, and the message is really quite clear. Buy a hat now. Perfect. Right, well, there you go. That's it for this time. Stegs will be back with the next episode in the series, or he better be, unless he's decided to take a holiday again, which we're not going to stand for that. See, look, this is getting it done. I've got to do something about the darkness. I've got to finish off the underworld, and I've got to finish off this building. So expect more of that next time around. Anyway, I've been Colonel Failure. Thank you very much for watching. Sling your likes in this direction if you have a hat, and subscribe if you don't have a hat already. You should have a hat, frankly. And I'll catch up with you very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Let's do what we always do and go. I tell you what, we haven't ridden the roller coaster through the innards of the building here, which needs a proper name. Let's face it. There we go. It's started in a nice bit. Thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you very soon. Cheerio!